Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on tips and tricks for summer school with Brightspace. We're really excited to have you join us today. A couple things to note. The Zoom question and answer box is open for any questions that you may have throughout today's session. We will turn the chat function on at the end of the webinar. In addition, a recording of this session and the slide deck that I'll be presenting will be posted in Brightspace community. And we will also post a link in the Brightspace community to a document with any of the questions that we received today, along with the answers to those questions, and then any additional links to any resources that may be helpful for you. So let's get started with today's agenda. We are going to start with some quick introductions. From there, we'll introduce useful tools and why they could be useful to you during summer school. Next, we'll have a demo in the platform to show you these tools. And to finish off, we will have a discussion and question and answer period if there is anything that doesn't get answered in the chat box. A little bit about us. My name is Heather, and I am a customer enablement specialist here at D2L. And I have my colleague Victoria here with me today, and she will be answering any of the questions that you may have in the question and answer box. Before D2L, we both worked in classrooms as educators for a number of years, and we're excited to still work with districts like yours across North America. And before we get too far, I would like to take a moment to clarify some terms. So D2L is the company that Victoria and I both work for, and Brightspace is the product that we make, which is a learning management system. Depending on where you work, your district may call Brightspace something like eClass, iLearn NYC, or the VLE. And although there are different names for the learning management system, they all refer to Brightspace. In addition, we have our Brightspace community, which is a hub of resources where you can connect with other Brightspace users and seek out additional information on Brightspace. There are going to be some links in the chat for you to join the Brightspace community if you have not done so, and then also a link to our K-12 educators group. All right. So today I am going to be going through announcements, checklists, class progress, intelligent agents, and release conditions. I'm going to discuss how these tools in Brightspace could help with summer school, but of course they can be helpful during any course at any time of the year, but wanted to share why they could help during a condensed summer term. So the first tool that we are going to look at is announcements. We like to think of announcements as the virtual equivalent of a bulletin board in your class. This is a really great tool for sharing information to your students. And as you can see on the slide here, you can add in multimedia such as videos or images related to tasks or activities that learners will be participating in to get them excited about a new lesson or unit. Announcements can be used to support remote communications while learners are maybe traveling summer school from somewhere far away. This tool really keeps any and all updates in one place. Next up is checklists. Checklists can help students stay on track by clearly laying out what they need to do each week or unit or for an assignment, depending on how you set this up. Students can check off each item as they complete it, and while it's self-tracked, it really helps them feel in control of their learning and their progress. Checklists can also help with reducing that "what do I do next" in a short summer term to support student independence. And next up here is class progress. Class progress is a tool where instructors can monitor students' overall progress in a course and at the individual level as well. This can be a really useful tool during summer to ensure timely support and also to inform data-driven instruction. And the next tool that we will look at is intelligent agents. Intelligent agents are automated communications and actions based on activities that learners do in Brightspace. Intelligent agents are perfect for nudging students who haven't logged in, maybe have missed an assignment, or have achieved a milestone. I like to think of these as your own personal teaching assistants that can help you stay connected with students based on their activity or inactivity. And finally, we are also going to look at release conditions. So these can be used to create personalized learning paths for students. And so it can release announcements, assignments, content, quizzes, and more, which you will see on the screen there as well. And this happens when certain requirements have been met, which allows students to work through the course at a pace that is right for them. An example of this is that we can use release conditions to have a student go to remedial content or enhancement content based on how they scored on a quiz. And I will show you later how we do this during our demo. And that's what we are going to get into right now. So I will pop in here to our course. And before I get too far here, your homepage of your course may look a little bit different just depending on how your organization has it set up or how you have it set up. So just please keep that in mind, and your nav bar might look a little bit different, also depending on how your organization has it set up or how you have it set up. So the first tool that we are going to look at in our demo here is the announcements tool. So as I mentioned, this really is like a digital bulletin board, and it can keep all of your key information front and center for students. And it really is a powerful tool for keeping students on track during the summer. So I have already created a welcome announcement for my students. So I am going to go ahead here and create a new announcement. The announcements tool uses the full Brightspace editor, which gives you lots of features for your text formatting, checking accessibility, and also inserting different multimedia elements. So within announcements, you could insert any of these items that are listed here within insert stuff. So I am going to add a headline to my announcement here, and then also some content for my new unit. One of my favorite things about announcements is being able to direct students exactly where I want them to go within my course by linking them to items. And this allows them to not have to dig around for anything. It's right in front of them. And it really keeps things clear for learners and puts them at ease. So I am going to highlight what is biology and insert a quick link here. I am going to insert content, biology, and my what is biology. And then that is linked right there for my students. Now, if I scroll down here within announcements, we can also set availability dates. You may want to pre-schedule all of your announcements for the entire duration of your course, and you can do that here with a start date. And perhaps you have an announcement that you want going out every single Monday. You could pre-schedule all of these announcements, which allows you to not have to think about it on a Sunday night because they're already happening. Here as well, I wanted to point out that you can add attachments, and within your announcement, this will show up as an attachment, whereas if you use insert stuff within the Brightspace editor, those items will show up in line with the announcements, which could make it a little bit more clear for students, and the visibility is higher when it's in line with the announcement. Now, continuing down our page here, we also have release conditions, which allows you to differentiate the posts and communications by choosing who they are published for. So if I wanted this announcement to release once students have visited the navigating the course area of my content, I could do that right here. So I am going to create and attach, and I'm going to scroll down to content and completed a content topic. And I am going to select navigating the course and create. So that's a really great feature that you can make use of within the announcements tool. It allows you to match your announcements with the pace of your learners. Something that I do want to note here within release conditions is that the availability date will override that condition. So if you have not started that announcement yet, based on your date and a condition is met, learners will not see that. So that is something to keep in mind. And I am going to publish this announcement here. And then within announcements, I can see all of the announcements that I have within my course. And from my welcome announcement, I am going to navigate right from this quick link that I inserted to navigating the course. And then you can see here that we are right in our content space, and it led students right to here from the announcement. And the next item that we are going to talk about is checklists. So we can add checklists right into the content space here. And I am going to add a checklist into our Welcome to Science module so that students will have this right at the beginning of the course and know exactly what they need to complete. So I'm going to create new and checklist. I am going to name this Science Course Checklist. Excuse my typing there. And then I'm going to add in a description as well and create and insert. And so my checklist showed up at the bottom here, and I'm going to make this visible to my learners, and I'm going to open my checklist here to edit it. So you may choose to create categories for your checklist, and you can do this based on units, or you may have it as categories like assignments and quizzes and discussions so that students know all of the accessible activities that they need to complete. There's lots of different ways that you can set up these checklists. And so I am going to create a new category here, and I am going to do it for my unit 1. And a description is optional. And just for the sake of our demo, I'm going to save us some time and press save here. And then what I want to do is I want to add items underneath this category. So I'm going to click new item here. And I want my students to read what is biology. And then I can also link them to certain content just the same way that we did within our announcements tool. So I could link them to that particular spot. I can also add in due dates. And so this can really help with student pacing as well. And it can let them know at what point and where they should be in the course during that condensed summer term. That can really help students understand not only their assignments that they need to complete, but the actual course content that they do need to get through. And I would like to now add some more items to my checklist. So I'm going to click Save and New and just add in one more here just for visibility sake there. And so that is my checklist there all set up. And I am going to save and close. And this will take me right to all of my other checklists as well. And so that is how the checklists are set up from the teacher and instructor perspective. But what I want to do is I want to show you what this looks like from the student perspective and a different kind of a checklist based on an assignment. So I just flipped to a new window. So I am viewing this from the student perspective now. So I'm doing this from Samantha's perspective. And I am going to go into this checklist here. And I'm going to open this up. And I wanted to show you how this checklist is used to track progress with an assignment. And so I had set one up by unit, but this one is set up as assignment based. So the first task here would be to do some research, and then a student can check off these items. And then the next task would be to do a 3D model construction, and some items can be checked off there. And then the last task as part of the assignment would be a presentation. So again, as I mentioned, that this can be a great tool for your students to be able to know at their own pace what they're working towards. And I will save this on Samantha's behalf there. And so they really can be set up and be a great tool because they're set up in a variety of ways. So I am going to flip back here to our instructor perspective. And the next tool that we are going to look at is class progress. I am going to navigate here through my course admin, and you can also do it this way if you don't have it in your nav bar. And class progress. So class progress, it really tracks your students' overall progress as a course and also at the individual student level. And I'm going to give you an overview of the class progress interface here. So the first thing here to look at is the filter. So you can filter participants based on membership in groups or sections if you do have that set up within your course. And also here you can choose how you want to display your users in the chart. So you can do that by first name or last name. And then you can also search for users up in the search bar as well. And on our nav bar here, there is a maximum of 4 performance indicators that can be displayed at any time in the class progress tool. And if you want to adjust these, you can go into settings, and then you can replace any of those performance indicators here and make your choice here. I am going to keep mine right now, but I wanted to show you how you are able to do that. So right here, we can see this checklist progress. So I can see it here at the full class level, and then I can also see it at the individual level. So I'm going to click into Samantha here to get a more granular view on the progress. So we have a progress summary, and this is where it would take you as soon as you click into that first student. And we can scroll down on the page. And something that I want to point out is the checklist here that we can look into that we just checked off for Samantha. So we would be able to see what is in progress for Samantha. So we can see how they're progressing towards an assignment and or maybe in the course, depending again on how you have those checklists set up. So again, this is a really great tool to look at as that centralized dashboard to really monitor student progress and their engagement within the course. Now, something that you may have noticed is the use agents to automate feedback, and this is right here from class progress. So if we click on this, we will be taken right to our intelligent agents tool. And you can also access this tool through the course admin if you aren't in class progress. As I mentioned during the presentation, this is one of my favorite time-saving and student engagement tools in Brightspace. Right here, you can see some of the agents that are already created. The X indicates that they are disabled, and you can enable them by clicking on one or a few and clicking enable. During a summer term, it might be beneficial to have an agent for an assignment being overdue, and you can see how many users have that overdue, and you can get in contact with them if you need to. Or you can also set up some positive feedback emails, depending on how students do on a quiz, like this You Know Your Stuff agent at the bottom of the page here. But we are going to set one up here by clicking on New Agent. And during the summer term, a lot of times because it's so condensed, we really want to keep an eye on how often students are accessing the course so that they progress during the course at the correct pace. So right here, I'm going to set up an agent to check in on students who haven't logged into our course in the last 3 days. So firstly, we're going to name our agent. And a description is optional, but I do recommend to set up a description, especially as you continue to create these. It does make things nice and clear for you, and you know exactly what the agent is doing. And I am going to send an email to students, so I have a category here already set up as emails. And you can also make a new one by the Add Category button. We want to make sure that the agent is enabled because the default is off here. And as I scroll down, the next thing that we are going to look at is scheduling. So this is how often the agent criteria is evaluated. So I am going to set this to run daily. I want to make sure that I continually know when my students haven't logged into the course. And although this does say daily, I do need to insert a 1 here so that it happens every single day. And then we also have the schedule dates. So intelligent agents can be scheduled to run before a course start date, and then scheduled intelligent agents will stop running and are automatically disabled if the course is inactive or it's past an end date or deleted. But I will make this as my course dates here. And the next thing we're going to look at is criteria. So we want this agent to run for all users that are in my class list. And then I want this to take action based on course activity when a user has not accessed the course within the last 3 days. In another scenario, you may want to set up an intelligent agent that is based on a specific release condition. So, like I mentioned before of a positive one, you may want to have an email sent to your students when they receive 90% or above on a quiz. So you could do that here through release conditions. And I am going to go down to score on a quiz and select a quiz. And they received greater or equal to 90%. And I won't press create. I just wanted to show you an example of how that could be done to send a positive reinforcement email to students if need be. And the final thing here on our intelligent agents is the actions. So we want this intelligent agent to take action every time the agent is evaluated. I want an email going out to students every single time that that they haven't logged in over the course, if it's been 3 days since they've logged in, excuse me. And so in the to field here, I can use some replace strings as well. So this is going to go to any of my users that perform the necessary actions to satisfy the criteria. And then I'm going to put an email in here. And so again, all of this will be done without you needing to check in to whether your students are logging in, which you can see within class progress, but this has that next step already set up for you to send out to your students. And you can also add in any attachments here if need be. If you wanted to record a video of saying congratulations on receiving 90% on a quiz or something like that. And I am going to press save and close. And then there we have our new intelligent agent set up. And so the last thing I want to specifically touch on is release conditions. I did touch on it when we were looking at the announcements tool and then just there in the intelligent agents tool, but I also wanted to show it to you in the content space. And this can play into also how you organize some of your content. So here I am in my content space, and I would like this remedial content to be released to my students after they score 80% or lower on a quiz. And I'm able to set that up right here. So I am going to view my release conditions, and there is one already set up here, but I do want to set up another one. So I am going to create this. And again, we'll go down to score on a quiz. And we want this to be less than or equal to 80%. And then I will create that and save. And you will see up here that this will only be visible to students if the conditions are met. So not all of your students would see this. It would only be the students that meet those release conditions. And it opens students up to a new unit to provide that remedial help. And this can really allow for that personalized learning path and allow learners to move at their own pace and at their own understanding when you have these set up. All right. So now what I want to reiterate for you is this K-12 educators group that we mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. We post announcements here, and we also continue our discussion from this webinar in this community group. So we would love to have you there. And Victoria is going to put the links in the chat for us again, so you have those there. And we also have our D2L Champions program. This is a really great program to get involved with, especially if you are attending webinars like this one, or if you're interested in participating in customer feedback groups or giving us reviews. We like to reward you with giving you champion points, and then you can use those to redeem for swag, gift cards, or even D2L services. And if you are looking for more information, Victoria has posted that link in the chat for you as well. And we have some upcoming sessions that we want to share with you. So we have a session in August on rollover best practice. And then here on the slide, you can see what we have lined up for the rest of this year. But we do have webinars planned up until February 2026 that you can sign up for. And those links are going to go into the chat. So there's a separate one for the August registration and then another one for the September to February registration, and also the descriptions of all of the webinars. And we also have a survey if you wouldn't mind taking a few moments to fill it out. We would love to get your feedback, and these results, they really help us improve our offerings and make sure that we are delivering what it is that you want to see. So there is a QR code on the screen if you have your device available to scan it, but the link will also be in the chat there for you. And finally, I wanted to share that D2L Fusion is happening next week. Fusion is D2L's annual learning conference, bringing together educators, administrators, and leaders to explore the latest in technology, teaching, and learning. And if you aren't able to join us in person, you can be part of the excitement by joining the free virtual experience to live stream our main stage events and explore on-demand sessions as well. And we'd love to have you there.